What's up, everyone? Good afternoon. It's December 19th, 2020. We've got UFC 1 or UFC Fight Night 183. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Geoff Neal. It's going to be a banger. That fight is going to be incredible. Sweet Pete MMA here on all channels. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I got them all. Check me out. Subscribe, like, do all that. All that jazz. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. But let's get into the fights here, guys. So hopefully you can see my screen. I'm working with OBS and just figuring it out myself, slowly but surely. So the first fight, we've got Marcin Tibera versus Greg Hardy. Guys, this is a Sweet Pete guarantee bet. I'm going to give you a freebie. Pick Greg Hardy because Greg Hardy's going to win this fight. I know Marcin Tibera is considered a step up. He's on a 5 win streak. But Greg Hardy, he's only lost to Volkov in the UFC. Volkov took him to a decision. Since then, Greg Hardy's improved strides have been huge. Improvement has been huge. He's got 2 inches of height. He's weighing in well over the 265-pound limit. He's going to cut down to make that versus Tibera's weight is 249. He's got an advantage in reach by 2.5 inches. And weirdly, he's got 2 inches short of leg reach, but he is taller. The TKO to KO percentage, Greg Hardy's got an 86% KO or TKO percentage. That changes my thinking here a little bit. Versus Tibera has only a 35% chance of KO or TKO considering his previous fights. Submissions 0% for Greg Hardy, obviously. Decisions 35% for Tibera and 14% for Greg Hardy. So heavyweights shows that these guys don't go the distance. But this is a 3-round fight. The average fight time for Tibera is 14 minutes and 38 seconds. The average fight time for Greg Hardy is 7 minutes and 28 seconds. Even though the stats are showing that it doesn't look like it's going to go the distance, I beg to differ. Sweet Pete MMA guarantee here is Greg Hardy takes this fight to the distance, wins the decision. The step up is going to be a little difficult, but he's going to outpoint him. He's just going to fight, pick him apart, and prevent takedowns. It's going to be contested on the feet. So let's check out the odds here on bestfightodds.com. So we're checking them. What are we looking for? Why is it only showing me that? Let's go back. Sorry about that. So, okay, there we go. Coming up, Greg Hardy versus Marcin Tibera. We've got the favorite is Greg Hardy at minus 115, and the Marcin Tibera is plus 105. But let's dig a little deeper into the prop bets. So here we go. We've got some up. Prop bets are all sorts of additional bets on just this that can be added that aren't just a straight bet for who wins or who loses. It could be Hardy wins in round 1, Marcin wins by submission round 2. So those odds go up significantly because they become harder to pick. There's more variables involved. So the prop bet I would pick here is the fight goes to the decision. That's one to take. And Hardy wins by decision. That's another one to take. Hardy wins by decision is plus 700, guys. So that means you put down $100 on that, you get $700. Hardy wins by decision. I think that's the way to go here. You could see a finish, but I'm going Hardy by decision. You want $700? Put $100 on that. That's the way it's going down. All right, moving on. We've got quite the banger. Michelle Pereira Lima versus Chaos William, who just bursted onto the scene, knocking guys out for 10-minute increments. Both are on the north side of 6 feet tall, or just 6 feet for Chaos Williams, who has legally changed his name to that, by the way, and 6'1" for the Brazilian. We've got a 24-11, 24-11-0, and 2 no contests for Michelle Pereira. Of course, we would have 2 no contests for Michelle Pereira. We know his antics. And a 10-1 record for Chaos Williams, who's just burst on the scene from the Contender Series, now in the UFC. He's had 2 impressive knockouts, and this is probably going to be a KO for one of the 2. Looking at best fight odds, let's see here. Chaos Williams and Pereira. The favorite is Michel Pereira, or Mikel Pereira. I don't know how you say it exactly. But he's minus 117. And Chaos Williams is plus 107. Guys, this is a fight I would stay away from. Who knows what's going to happen? The Chaos Pereira brings into that octagon. Funny, the Chaos Pereira brings into that octagon. Could be the chaos case of finishing the fight. It could be, who knows? It could be a knockout for either fighter. I don't know what's going to happen in that one. So stay away from it. That's my pick. I'm going to actually take Michel Pereira by knockout versus Chaos Williams. I'm going to go against the mainstream here. But I would suggest not betting on that fight. Next up, Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. Oh, how did I miss one? Let's go back. Sorry, guys. Marlon Moraes, quick turnaround after his loss to not Cody Stamen. I forget his name now. But he got lost by the spinning wheel kick. He was right at the bantamweight #1 fighter there, ready for the belt, and he was unfortunately knocked out. He's lost 2 in a row now. He lost to the ex-champ, Triple C, Henry Cejudo, and then Corey Sandhagen, finished him with the wheel kick in the first round, which was really unexpected. We thought that was going to be a war. We expected it to be a war. Both guys are top-level jiu-jitsu guys and stand-up guys. But this is a different fight altogether. Rob Font, number 11, off a lengthy, I think it was a year plus since he's fought. And Marlon Moraes on a quick turnaround, number 3 in the division. I've heard a lot of guys picking Rob Font here. I don't think Rob Font has what it takes to beat Marlon Moraes. Rob Font's got some advantages in his physicalities. 2 inches in height. 4.5 inches in reach, 71.5 versus 67. 71.5 inches is actually pretty good for a 5'8" fighter. You can tell just the difference in their bodies. He's 5'8" and lengthy. I'm a little bit over 5'8", so I'm about 5'8", 5'9", I think maybe right in the middle. My reach is only 69.5. So for him to have a 71.5 and be a tad shorter than me, that's pretty good. Marlon Moraes has a 67-inch reach, which isn't tiny. It's what his height describes. Usually your reach is the same as your height. So if you're 5'8", a 68-inch reach would be quite average. So, as 5'8", having a 71.5-inch reach, that's great for Rob Font. However, looking at this fight, looking at the physicality of Marlon Moraes and his strength, his jiu-jitsu, he has all the pressure on him. You know, he's going to lose 3. The UFC's cutting 60 fighters soon. I still think Moraes is going to pull through. I think he's a terrific fighter. I think he just got caught with that spinning wheel kick, and he lost to Cejudo, which is no shame in losing to either Corey Sandhagen or Henry Cejudo. They're both fantastic fighters. Rob Font might have some ring rust. I think he might get taken down. He might be on the bottom for a bit, and he might eat some nasty leg kicks. I would take Moraes by decision here, but I'm not too keen on betting on this fight. Looking at the bestfightodds.com, guys. Marlon Moraes and Rob Font. Moraes is the favorite by minus 150. Rob Font is a plus 140. So there's some value there, guys, on the Rob Font, especially taking a prop bet. So, for instance, you take Rob Font by a decision. Let's see, wins. Hard for me to find these. Font wins by decision here, guys. So that's plus 325. That's not bad. That's where I see some value on the betting side. My pick is Moraes, but betting is on the Font side. So you decide what you want to do there. Let's get back to the co-main event. Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. So I'm going to give you guys another freebie. I think he's the underdog as well. Let's find out. Marlon Vera versus Jose Aldo. Minus 150 for Jose Aldo, plus 140 for Marlon Vera. It's a 3-round fight, I believe. It's a co-main event, not the main event. So let's look at some prop bets here. You can pick Marlon Vera to win. Vera wins by decision. You get a plus 350. That is where the money's at. Jose Aldo is a hard person to finish. We saw Pereira do it in the 5th round. And that also could have been due to an injury of his stomach or ribs. However, when I look at these two fighters, I think Marlon Vera, even though it only says he's 5'8" versus 5'7", I think it's going to be a 2-inch height difference. I would say Marlon Vera is a legitimate 5'8" fighter versus Jose Aldo is probably only 5'6", maybe even a quarter. And they've bumped him up. Reaches are almost identical, 70.5 for Vera, 70 for Aldo, and the same thing in the leg reach, 0.5 of an inch, half an inch higher for Vera. So they're similar in size, but if you look at them, they aren't really the same body type or the same in size. Vera seems like a taller and a more evenly dispersed, filled out body versus Jose Aldo has that quick twitch, skinnier waist, built like a V, really ripped and muscular, kind of skinny legs. I think Vera has a little bit bigger legs in the calf area. Even though Jose Aldo is only 33, 34, it seems like he's about 54 because he's been fighting in the WEC since I was like 16 or something. I remember he was the champion. Or like 19 he was the champion. And he was just a kid back then. So he's younger than me. And he's still fighting. But the thing is, in MMA, it's not really about age. Age comes into play, but it's more about how you've aged in MMA. So, for instance, if you started MMA at 27 years old, say you got into shape, you got real strong, real fit, you were doing fitness at 25 to 27, and you started MMA at 27 years old, and 3 years later, you're making your pro debut in the UFC. You're not going to have that damage. You're 30 years old. You've been training for 3-4 years, and you've made strides, won on the amateur circuit. You're not going to have the damage of a Jose Aldo who's 28-7. Up until a few years ago, it was 28-3. He's lost 4 or 5 fights in the last 2 years. We just saw him lose to Pereira. We saw him. This all started when he got knocked out by Conor McGregor at 145. And, since then he's moved down to 135. So, Sweet Pete MMA guarantee Marlon Vera is winning this fight. I'm not going to guarantee you the prop decision bet, which I might take. But Marlon Vera by decision, that's how I see it going down. Now, let's check out the main event. We got Steven Wonderboy Thompson ranked 5th in the UFC welterweight division versus Geoff Neal Hands of Steel. We've got him ranked 11th in the welterweight division. So looking at their physicalities, we got 6 feet, 170 pounds, 75-inch reach in the arms. They do it this way. I disagree with that measurement. They should be doing it this way because the width of your chest could determine the length of your reach and not be accurate versus when you're punching, that's the real reach. You want the distance from your shoulder and chin to your knuckle, not your hands out and the tip of your fingers, because that's not your real reach. Your reach is out here. However, they both have a 75-inch reach, 42-inch reach in the leg for Thompson, 41 for Neal. So it says they're about the same size, 6 feet versus 5'11", but again, this is another one, just like Jose Aldo, where you're going to see them touch gloves, and Steven Wonderboy Thompson, who is every bit of 6 feet, maybe 6 feet and a half, and Geoff Neal might be 5'10" and a half. So we're gonna see at least an inch or two difference. You're gonna notice that right away. You're gonna notice that Geoff Neal is gonna be a little more heavy set in the shoulders and chest, a little heavier, stronger. But looking at these statistics, guys, this is crazy. Wins TKO by KO, 62% for Neal, 47% for Wonderboy. Submission wins 7% for Wonderboy, 15 for Neal. Decision wins 47 for Wonderboy, 23 for Neal. So these stats suggest that it probably won't go by decision. 47% and 47% for the TKO. It's possible. And then for Geoff Neal, he's more 62% heavier on the TKO and KO side. A little higher on the submission side, but less fights than Stephen Wonderboy to get that information from. So strikes landed per minute, significant. We've got 6 for Neal and only just under 4 for Wonderboy. Wonderboy is gonna land a lot of strikes this fight. He showed in one of his most recent fights against Vicente Luque, that might have been his last one, where he is able, this is from Dan Hardy, how Dan Hardy was describing his evolution of fighting, how he was typically a counter striker and would angle off in his karate stance, stay far back, move, angle off with a check hook, and cut that angle. But in that fight against, oh my God, the names drop into my head now, Vicente Luque, sorry guys, we saw Stephen Wonderboy Thompson start to be a volume striker. He was putting it on, he was putting on his opponent, and what ended up happening was we got a decision win for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, which was a fight that I really thought was going to show Wonderboy is kind of coming to an end of his career at the age of 37. But his type of fighting, he's in great shape. He hasn't taken that much damage. The Vicente Luque fight, I think, is the most damaging fight he took. Even more than his 2 title fights where he lost to, what's his name? Why is it? The ex-champ. I forget his name, but he's on a losing streak too, and he just lost to the guy who's going to fight. Oh my gosh, let's look up the names here. UFC 170 pounders. Sorry, so he lost to Kamaru Usman. Not Kamaru, it's Gilbert Burns. That's what I was thinking of. So Gilbert Burns is supposed to fight Kamaru Usman, but that fight is pushed back to March, I think. Yeah, so we saw Stephen Wonderboy Thompson lose to fight Tyron Woodley. That's what I was trying to think of, thank God. So Wonderboy fought Tyron Woodley twice for the title. If he's going to make a last go for the belt, this is his time. He needs to beat this up-and-comer Geoff Neal, and I think he's going to. I think he's actually going to take it to a decision. I don't think he will finish Neal. I think he'll outpoint him. 5 rounds. Give me Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by decision. Now, let's see these odds. We're going to go to bestfightodds.com. We've got Geoff Neal and Stephen Thompson. It's a pick'em fight. Both minus or negative 105. So that means you put down $105 to win 100. Checking out the prop. This is the way to go in this fight. Stephen Thompson by decision. Let's see. So Thompson to win by decision. Thompson wins by decision. You got plus 290. That's a nice prop. I also think it's possible that the experience in 5 rounds of Thompson and the lack of experience of Neal for 5 rounds could come up, and the 4th or 5th rounds could be dangerous, and it's possible that he could finish him in the 4th or 5th round. So looking at some of these prop bets, what if we go Thompson finishing Neal in round 4? So for Thompson to win just by TKO or KO, it's plus 255. It's not even as good as that decision one. So we got the Thompson by decision plus 290. That I like better than the odds of Thompson winning by TKO or KO. But what about Thompson winning in round 4? So let's see here. Thompson wins round 5, 2,550. So you put down $100, you're gonna win $2,550 if you pick Thompson to win in round 5. Round 4 plus $1,800. You put down $100, you're gonna win $1,800. So these are bets I would look into, guys. You might not win them all the time. So think about, you put down $10, you win $180. So that's what I like to do. Is I like to get these bets and these prop bets, and thinking the fights out in my mind with what I've seen, my knowledge, what I've heard from other analysis and MMA betting pros. I take all their advice. I take my opinion. I put it all together, and I decide who I'm gonna bet on. And it's been very, very profitable for me lately. So I'm gonna continue doing it. So I think the prop bet for Thompson to win by decision is something to be taken into account, or Thompson to win in round 4 or round 5 by TKO or KO. That is how I am taking these main event fights. We're going to go over them really quickly again. So we've got Marcin, Tibera versus Greg Hardy. Guys, look Greg Hardy by decision prop. That's a Sweet Pete guarantee. Greg Hardy will win this fight. Morrison versus Rob Font. Sorry about that. I think Marlon Morrison is going to bounce back. He's going to take Rob Font the distance, but I'm not sure how this fight will end. I just am leaning towards Morrison. Michelle Pereira versus Chaos William. Guys, I'll be honest, I have no clue who's going to win this. Probably a knockout by A or B. So throw it in a hat, tails or head, or throw a coin in the air. Heads for Lima, tails for Williams, and whatever you land on, bet on that guy if you want. Otherwise, stay far clear away from it, as I am. Jose Aldo versus Marlon Vera. Another underdog pick. Vera, guys, he's going to win this fight. Sweet Pete MMA guarantee. Look at these prop bets. Vera by decision. Can be very juicy. And then the main event, we've got Steven and the Wonderboy Thompson, who comes out to Wonderboy. It's so perfect. Versus Hands of Steel, Geoff Neal. That works too. I like that. The experience, the length, the distance, the karate style, the toughness, everything that Steven Wonderboy brings to the table is just going to be too much at this point in time for Geoff Neal, who only recently became a full-time fighter. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Geoff Neal gets that knockout in the first or second round, or TKO. So, guys, that's Sweet Pete's picks here for the fights. I don't want to guarantee you're going to make money if you listen to me, but I'm making money on a regular basis. So try taking a chance with Sweet Pete MMA. See how you do and go from there. The ones I say for sure are the ones I prefer you guys to bet on. The ones I stay away from, or stay away from them. But the two for this fight, guys, are the Marlon Vera fight. That's the big one, and Hardy. Those are the two, Hardy and Vera. Look at the decision props on both. And that's it, guys. Enjoy the fights tonight. Sweet Pete MMA signing off. Have a great weekend and Merry Christmas to everyone. Take care, guys.